this bulldog was gifted to me and my family because I took care of her sons. One of her sons is one of my special needs guys, and I just really made them feel like family. She's like, Chris, I want to give you this bulldog if you would accept it. I was like, absolutely, I love bulldogs.
Welcome to The Clean Slate, a podcast where we chat about facilities management, commercial cleaning, and keeping the working world safe, clean, efficient, and free from risk. I'm your host, Trista Sobek. Hi, Chris. Welcome to The Clean Slate. Thanks for being here today. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me. Appreciate that.
So we are talking to Chris Buloson, who is Regional Facilities Management of a little place people may have heard of. They may have taken their kids there or gone there or got uber competitive there. I'm talking about one of the fastest growing family entertainment centers in the nation right now, and that's TopGolf. So really excited to have him here and just find out how Chris started in facilities management, how he deals with some of the stress. I'm sure it's a stressful situation sometimes, dealing with lots of people. It's like a club and a nightclub and like a play place and all in one. So we'll just dig in. So Chris, what's the hardest thing you dealt with this morning? And it doesn't have to be anything facilities management related. We're just kind of getting to know you a little bit.
It's honestly because I span from literally the East Coast to the West Coast, and it is waking up early in the morning to get to my emails because, as you can imagine, with all these venues that I overlook, I have to be sure that they are getting the attention they need. So getting to support my venues, my facility management teams out there, I have to get up really early and answer their emails because they're always asking for something. Something's always breaking. As you can imagine, all of the things that we have in our venues, just weather related issues and just literally everything that can break, will break. So
Right.
it is getting up early for the East Coast.
So where are you located right now? Are you on the East Coast, West Coast, or?
I am situated in Hillsboro, Oregon, so West Coast.
Okay. And you oversee many
I
regions of the country.
I overlook, oh my gosh, the entire West Coast from Colorado west and Tennessee north up to, oh my gosh, think Minnesota. I think it's just probably as far as I go. Oh, actually Iowa, and I was just in Ohio. So
Getting a little bit over to the east there, a little bit.
yeah, just
You're like, bring it back. Very cool. So getting up early and I'm assuming, staying up late because,
yes.
facilities don't just, you close, but everything is still, running so it can start up the next day for folks. So super overseeing a lot of things. So, and you have a lot of things going on in your facility, right? So there's a restaurant, there's bar, there's the golf part, there's the stores, right? So those are all very separate entities.
Yes. I like to say we're a restaurant with a driving range. And we accommodate everything in between. With kids, adults, teenagers, you name it. I mean, we have a little bit of something for everybody. With the bars and all that kind of stuff. So even in some of our venues, we have a video arcade games. So we have to manage that. We have putt golf.
Oh, really?
Yes, we do in some locations. We do.
Oh, that's cool.
So it encompasses a lot of stuff.
Yeah, it's funny. My dad used to say, the more intricate things that you have, like when we were talking about cars, the more stuff you have on your car, the more things that can break and go wrong. So it's like really
100%.
great that you have a backup camera, but that's one more thing that can go wrong, right? So kind of have to always have maintenance on those things and making sure
Yes.
everything's flying correctly.
Working properly.
Yeah.
Yes, for sure.
How do you balance that along with, a customer centric outlook or approach to the day to day? Because people come there to, have a good time and be treated. You're going for a premium experience essentially. So how do you balance the two?
I we kind of approach it as, um, if you think of a five-star experience, right? Top Golf is not a cheap date. We very much. I mean, if you're coming in as, let's say, a couple, you're at least spending $150 for, let's say, a couple hours. Especially in this economy, we have to make sure that we're putting our best foot forward, right? So, balancing is, boy, that's kind of hard. It's making sure that really everything is just taken care of. I'm sorry, Trista.
No, no, no,
Let's.
that's okay. Do you think it has anything to do with, just everybody being highly trained and looking out for, those customers and making sure, because it's at the end of the day, facility management is people and assets, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yes, absolutely. Again, it's making sure that everything works. People come there for the golf experience, and with as much technology as we have in our venues, everything's got to work. As the way expected, right? So we make sure that if you're hitting a golf ball and you want to see it score, let's make sure that it scores. Um, and again, that's that premium price that you're paying. And it's not just the game experience; it's also with food and beverage. You uh, Making sure that the kitchen has everything that they need to. I mean, we have to serve their food. We're making sure that the bar is running again in the POS system. And again, it really encompasses everything. The
yeah.
check-in, making sure the restrooms are clean, making your tables are bussed. So it really is a lot. And the balancing part of this, is really does have to do with training. Um, our not just our managers, we call them playmakers.
Playmakers.
Our playmakers are well equipped with knowledge, and know what they have to do. So yeah, it has to do a lot with training.
Yeah, that's really good to know because, I mean, it is paying for a premium experience and you are paying for, like, I want to know how far my ball went. I want to know, but at the end of the day, I look at it and, the research that I've done is like, if it's not clean and people aren't nice, people aren't going to come back. You could have all the technology in the world, but if it's not feeling good and people aren't being good to each other, it doesn't matter.
Oh
So,
yeah, 100%.
yeah.
And again, that does come down with the training that we put forward. Because yeah, it really does have to do with people.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah.
Today's Clean Slate podcast is sponsored by OpenWorks Facility Management, the FM company that treats you with the respect you deserve. With multiple levels of oversight, from local service providers to regional managers to a corporate account team, OpenWorks ensures your buildings are getting exactly what they need to stay clean, compliant, and disinfected. You grow, we grow. You change, we'll adapt with you. We're tech-driven, people-powered, and focused on you. Welcome to Modern Facilities Management. Let's get back to our content. What's your favorite part about doing what you do? And it doesn't have to be Top Golf. It doesn't, but what you do as a facility manager.
Honestly, I love, like, making sure that I'm building people. And somebody gave me that shot when I was young, back in my 20s, and like, hey Chris, this might not be the field that you're going into or you're interested in, but I'm gonna show you everything I know. So in case, if you ever want to take that step, you know what to expect. and I do the same thing with my teams, regardless if they're an 18 or 19-year old that just came into this facility world. I give them the tools, the knowledge. Like, hey, you might not know electrical, you might not know plumbing, or whatever it may be, or even electronics, but I'm going to show you what it takes to be successful, not just here, but you can take this in your personal life. In back, if you ever own a home or whatever it may be, you can use this knowledge for that. And it's really just building people, and giving that knowledge, my knowledge, to them, because I've already had, gosh, I can't even count how many guys have come back to me and said, Chris, thank you for what you've done for me, and because of this is where I'm at today. I had families. I have this. I kind of joke with my wife, but I have this bulldog. Was gifted to me and my family because I took care of her sons. They're one of her sons is a special needs. One of my special needs guys, and I just really made them feel like family. And I have the three brothers, and she's like, Chris, I want to give you this bulldog if you would accept it. I was like, absolutely, I love bulldogs. And so it's really building relationships, and showing them how to grow in these relationships.
So what's the bulldog's name?
Marley.
Marley. She's like, I would like this dog to be part of your family. Like, that's what that seems like. She's like, you took my family in under your wings. So, because an animal is not like a, flowers. It's like,
Yeah,
this is a
exactly.
big, big deal.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is, I'm not going to put any a monetary number on it, but these dogs don't go for cheap.
Yeah. No,
Um,
no, no. It's purebred. Yeah.
yeah, and it, paper and everything. I was like, I wasn't looking to like sell or whatever, but it was a cool, very heartfelt moment, for her to give us that, and so that was awesome, and that's why I do what I do, and that's why I do what I love doing this. It's for the people.
That's great. So you mentioned something about special needs. So do you have like where you hire in differently abled folks to learn skills and trades?
Absolutely. TopGolf, we're big on hiring, with special needs and stuff. And so I had three, maybe four at one point. And it's really, you know, going through the motions with them, and it's not that we have to, but it was something that I wanted to, um, and show them that, look, it's you're not, how do I say this? It's we're all special, and this is how we can work together, regardless of the skills you have or don't have. So um,
That's
yeah,
amazing. Yeah, I love
yeah,
that.
I do too.
Yeah. So how did you mention a little bit like somebody brought you into this idea of facility management? Can you talk a little bit about that? And what do you like go towards? Is it like the technology aspect of it, or is it like fixing things, or is it the people? Because it's like kind of like being a doctor. There's a specializations.
Yes. So I actually, I come from a line of, my family history is more of contractors, construction workers. So I grew up like we built our family home back in Hawaii, and so we were always hands on. Um, we fixed our family vehicles. Everything that we did was always we did it on our own. It's because uh, we weren't well off, so we did what we needed to do. And growing up, I've always loved working with my hands. And there was a point in my life where I was like, I really like doing this. Um, and it's helping, like when I had friends or family members like, hey, can you help me, put in this electrical box or whatever it may be, or build a shelf or a cabinet um, and I got really good at doing this. So I went to school for the HVAC,
Okay.
um, heating and air conditioning, and that's kind of where I started picking up things. And through that, I've learned electrical, plumbing, um, and then just my people skills. What my manager over at when I worked at MCOR, we managed 1 million square feet, and he was like, "Chris, you have a knack for like leading people." And this is I was still young into my career, and that kind of stuck with me. And he's like, well, let me kind of just show you, a little bit about the management portion of this stuff. And I really wasn't asking for it, and so he kind of just brought me under his wing and kind of showed me these things. And as I moved forward with my career, I think I was there for maybe 4 years, and I moved on to the university, um, where I was just hired as a facility guy. And then my boss there was like, Chris, you can't just be a facility guy. You're a people person. You motivate people. So I'd like for you to be my assistant director. And it kind of just flourished from there. And then when the opportunity came for Top Golf, I took it.
Yeah.
So here
Why
I am
wouldn't you?
today.
Um, how long? So what university was it?
It was called the University of Western States.
Okay.
It was a chiropractic college over here in Portland.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about your journey and how it started in the trades. And I have a teenage son. He's going to be 15, and he came home the other day, and his school had like a little college fair in the courtyard, and he's talking to me about the trades, and and it seems like right now there's a big resurgence to go into the trades. And and as somebody who works in, is knowledgeable a little bit about facility management, I was like, yeah, go and learn all those things, because that's in a sense recession proof, because
Yeah.
there's always going to be buildings, and there's always going to be a need to overlook it. And it seems like you found that sweet spot of, overseeing people and also knowing how to literally get your hands dirty.
Yeah. And that's the best part of it is the getting down and dirty and nitty gritty, if for lack of better words.
Yeah.
But that's my favorite part, honestly, is really getting my hands dirty, working with the guys. That's
Yeah.
where I really do enjoy most of my time.
So how many people, like, as a head count, do you manage, or have you managed up at one point?
Um, oh boy, I have 38 venues. Multiply that by two for the facility manager and the assistant facility manager. Um, Gosh, honestly, literally just overlooking people. It's just that is the main oversight of the people part, but that doesn't even touch the director of operations. The operations in itself for each venue, um, and so
Upwards
few
of
hundred
200?
at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. So, what's the biggest challenge that you've had? And it doesn't have to be where you are now. It could be any time in a facility. And what kind of skills did you have to rely on to solve that?
The biggest challenges are maybe working with what do you call other um, let's say, okay, electricians or just the different trades. Everybody's looking out for themselves. Um, Everybody is is bidding, to get a better price or trying to get the job. And so then you fight with these um, pushy, I guess, um, uh, managers, or salespeople. And the hardest part for me is saying no. I really like, it's just personally. And so when they come back and like, hey, Chris, I really went out of the, out on the ledge for this. That was difficult for me because I really want to work with them, but I got to look at this as a business. Um, and so the business sense just said, I'm sorry, we just can't do that. Um, so I think for me, that's probably the hardest part is telling people no.
Yeah, it's hard for people to hear that they're not a good fit,
Yeah.
especially it's like, if you're a person out there and you're grinding and you want to, have the electric of all the top golfs in the one region, I can imagine as a vendor you would want that pretty badly, but just sometimes it's not a good fit and it has to fit in with your goals and the bottom line. And so when you're working with vendors, what's the best way that they can come to you to show you, what they have? Like, is it, what kind of approach do you appreciate more?
Honestly, it's just being forward, and being upfront with, what you present is what you will give me. Um, because there's too many times where, and again, I get it. They're salespeople. Hey, we can do XYZ for you, and when the time comes, all we can deliver is Z. Let's just be straightforward and let's be honest.
Right.
What do you give me? And just what is your bottom line? Because at the end of the day, I have managers that I gotta go to, and I have a budget that I need to meet. So if we can just literally cut out the middle, um, and just let's just shoot straight, and
Yeah.
say, hey, this is what it is.
Yeah. Very cool. So, how's your golf game?
It is decent, I will say. Um, I it's funny because this is why I started Topgolf. Um, I started as actually just a part-time facility guy. When I was working at the university. I was like, what are these nets going up? What is this place near my house? Um, Sorry, I'm gonna go into a long-winded story here.
You
Just
can. You can. That's why we're here to hear the stories.
and so and this place came up. I'm like, I want to see what this is about. And I just got into golf at that time. And so my golf game was next to nothing. And I was just maybe once a month type of golfer. I go to the golf course and maybe shoot 120. Fast forward to today, I have a handicap of 9. If you know what a good handicap is, and it's decent. I wouldn't say it's the best, but through what I do at work and the time I get to spend at work, I've improved on my game, and it's one of my passions now is golfing.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think one of the things that Top Golf has really brought to culture is they've made golf more accessible
Yeah,
for people. Whereas it was like in the past, it was, you had to go to a country club or a place and then pay the fee or pay the membership and get in. And now it's like, you don't have the whole game there, but you have aspects of it, and you can get in there and you can take your kid, you can meet a
yeah.
friend, and even if you're somebody who's not like a golfer, like you can understand why it's a popular sport. Where I think just sometimes it's like you're like, I don't, people will be like, I don't get it.
Well, and that's the wonderful thing about golf, Top Golf anyway, is we attract the younger crowd. I mean, just during the during COVID, those that year, up to a year and a half, we had when all that was left was golf courses that were open. so many people took to golf, and just grew the game. And with Topgolf being so accessible, and it's golf, it's not golf, it's
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
literally just hitting balls, enjoying your time, having a beer, and really just, and people pick that up and like, oh my gosh, this is pretty cool. And
Yeah.
now they're bringing their kids, and their kids are like, yes, I want to golf. So it's, if you watch any golf nowadays, I mean, it's young. I mean, it is a gentleman's game, but it really is.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and also like women are getting more into it, and
Yeah.
I just have to point that out. But
100%.
yeah,
My daughter, she loves it.
yeah, and it's just made it more accessible and brought it to people. Just kind of repackaged it. It's like it's golf, but here you
Yes.
go, have a beer, and understand the game a little bit more. So I think that that's really interesting. Um, cool. So how do you think, this is probably my last question, for the future facilities management, we talk a lot about some of the buzzwords in facilities management like sustainability and technology and AI. And I can see that all comes together in golf for sure. So what are some of the things like you have your eye on when it comes to, technology and sustainability?
It's understanding, especially with technology. It's so progressive now. It's moving so quick, and how do we get it to work for us and with us, um, but still have the human part of this. Um, yes, we can use technology to our advantage, but let's be sure, for the facility management side anyway, is let's still have control of, um, the human aspect, as far as like the troubleshooting part, and making sure that we are still part of the system per se.
Right.
Where especially in this day and age, it's interacting with people. And as much as technology has come a long way, nothing can replace that human interaction.
Right. Definitely. Cool. All right. Well, do you have anything else to add? Because those are the end. That's probably the end of my questions.
Um, not off the top of my head, but yeah, I really appreciate this. This was really fun.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed this.
I make it easy. I'm like, let's just talk.
Yeah, absolutely. I could have probably talked for another half hour, but this is
Well,
awesome.
we know you have a whole country, not just a part of, like you're regional, but it sounds like you're regional
National.
plus. Yes.
Oh
Yeah.
gosh. But yeah, thank you again. I appreciate this.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time, and we really appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you. Maybe we can do this again later.
Absolutely. We'll catch up with you in a couple months.
Okay,
All
sounds good.
right. Bye
All right.
bye.